Okay, so we're going to be playing around with lists here and trying to figure out how to find a minimum number within a list that is generated. So if we click the green flag, then we start with an empty list, and it's going to go ahead and populate it with a bunch of random numbers. And we get 104 numbers total within this list. And now we want to find the minimum. So I'm going to click this, and that will look through and try to identify the minimum. And it looks like the minimum is negative 985. So let's go ahead inside and see if we can figure out how we have how we've done this code. So to start off with, we're on the cat sprite, and this is where the numbers are generated in that list. So let's take a look at it. First, it says delete all of number list. So if there was a list from the prior operation, that will delete all of them and clear it out. This is complete the code to find the minimum value. That's what we're doing right now. Now it says repeat, pick random 75 to 125. That's picking a number between 75 and 125 to figure out how many times to add a number to the list. That's why we got 104 over here. That was just a random number picked between 75 and 125. Then they're going to pick a number between negative 1,000 and 1,000 and then populate that list by looping through and creating a new one. It's going to add it to the end. So each time it creates a number, it adds it to the end of the list. So we get this really long list of 104 numbers. All right, now this is what's going to happen after we actually identify the minimum. So we'll come back to here in a minute. So let's go look at the find minimum block. So when this sprite is clicked, it's going to go ahead and find the minimum, sprite being this one, clicks the button. So here's the actual function. Here's what's going to do it. Set minimum number to. All right, now what it's going to do is minimum number is the variable that I've set up. I have minimum number and I have index. So minimum num is going to be like the little box where I'm going to store the most recent minimum number. So I'm going to set the minimum number to the very first number in the list. In this case, can we see what that was? It would start off being set it to 1. So the minimum number would be 1. And I'm going to say item 1 on the list because item 1 is the number 1. But then I want to look at item 2. So I'm going to set index to 2, and then I want to do a little check. So I'm going to repeat this loop here, length of number list minus 1. At first I just had length of number list, and then I realized it did an extra one, so then I just added the minus 1 in there. And a lot of times you can just do that by guessing and checking. Okay, so I'm going to run through this basically 103 times, and it's going to do a check. If the minimum number, in this case it's 1, is greater than the next number in the list, so item index 2, so remember index is 2, so it's going to look at item 1 and compare it to item 2, and if 1 is the minimum, then it's going to, if 1 is smaller, it'll keep minimum 1, and if minimum 1 is larger, then it's going to set minimum number to this one. So let's say this number wasn't 394, it was minus 394. Then minimum number will be set to minus 394. So minimum number is going to be the smaller of those two numbers. Then I'm going to go and look at the next number. So right now my minimum is in this case 1. Is 1 going to be smaller than this, 100? Yes, so then it won't do anything. Is 1 smaller than this? No. So negative 747 becomes the new minimum number. Then I'm going to compare that number to this one, 68. It's still smaller, so don't do anything. Then 332, and so forth. And it's going to work its way down the list, looking to see if it can find another number that is smaller than that minus 747. Now, once it works through that and identifies the smallest number, it's going to broadcast over to back here to the cat. Broadcast when I found the minimum, he's going to say, aha, the minimum number is, and so forth. Okay, so let's go ahead and run the code. I'm going to put it on the other side just so we can see what happens. So I'm going to click the green flag. You see now we're going to generate the random numbers, and we have a total list of 117 of them. Now I want to find the minimum, so I click my block. It's going to activate this right here, and I'm looping through all of these different indices. There's 1,217 of them, and it turns out the minimum number was, oops, it was minus 1,000. It went away, but there it was. Okay, so that gives you an idea of one solution. There are obviously many possible solutions. This is not the only one. Okay, thanks.